How's it going, boys? So, today I'm going to be making a support guide in Dota. I am actually a core and mid player, however, I've decided to make a support guide because nobody in this game knows how to play support properly. Nobody actually understands how to play a good support and how to play a high level support. A lot of people know how to play carry and mid at a bracket that they're in, such as the Immortal or Divine bracket. However, I've realized nobody actually knows how to play support properly all the way up to Immortal. I have literally partnered with Immortal supports that just have no idea what they're doing. And I think, one, there is a lack of good support players that are genuinely good support players. And two, there's a lack of knowledge around how to be a good support. So I just want to teach people how to actually play a good support. However, I hate playing support because it's so boring. However, you don't need the last hit. It's kind of like less skill intensive. You're sitting around most of the time in trees and stuff, just waiting around. So it's kind of like, less intensive gameplay rather than those 1v1 mids where you have to like pump fake the shit out of your last hits and stuff like that. So essentially, what supporting is the following. Now, because nobody actually knows how to play support, if you play a good support, you will win so much MMR. And a lot of times your carry, the reason why your carry is feeding and they're playing bad, it's not necessarily because they're bad. It's because you lost the lane for them or you didn't do your job. Position 4 and position 5 is very different. If you guys like this video, I'll make a position 4 support guide in the next video. This video, I'm only going to be focusing on position 5 support. So ideally, you don't want to play Kato because this hero is probably one of the worst position 5s in the game, in my opinion. But he could be good in some cases just because Shardcard magic is absolutely broken. But yeah, I'm using him because he's a fast walker and whatnot. So to understand your job as a support, you have to understand that you don't really have to do too much as a position 5 support. Usually as a position 4, you have to initiate fights and ganks. So this is like your earth spirits and stuff like that. You're very important to initiate fights and picking off key targets. Potentially all that. As a position 5, you're kind of just like the sack of the team. You want to try not to die, but sometimes you do want to die. And, I actually realized how difficult and complicated this video is going to be. So just bear with me because it's actually a lot to get into. The first thing you want to understand is that as a position 5, there are some things you should do. You're either like a save. Usually all of the saving heroes are position 5 heroes. So like Winter Wyvern with his ultimate turning, able to counter initiate or turn the fight or save, Cold Embrace. And you have some wave clear, dazzle, save, and just wave clear everything. Oracle, or Treant Protector, very good position 5 hero. I'm just naming a bunch. Or you're like a nuker / stun, right? Or you're like a buff for your team. So it would be like Ogre Magi, buffing your team with Bloodlust. A save, Shadow Demon with the Disruption. Lion with just abilities. Shadow Demon, Shadow Shaman with his stuns and stuff. Tower Push even. And, Crystal Maiden with nukes, stuns, and everything. So, essentially, picking a support, generally, if you're playing a support that with saves, you want your carry to be someone who you can buff and you can save, right? So if you have like a Ursa, you kind of just want to pick a hero that slows and stuns people. So like Crystal Maiden is really good. Shadow Shaman is really good. Or even Bane could be okay. If you have a hero like Drow Ranger as your carry, you kind of want to just pick like Ogre Magi. And Treant Protector is good too. So essentially, it very depends on what your carry picks. However, you're going to be picking first, so you can kind of just pick whatever you want to play. play Warlock if you want. Warlock is really good, sustain and whatnot. They all do a similar but different job. Now your carry has to pick accordingly to you. So generally what you want to do is that you don't want to do double melee or double range. Ideally, if you pick a ranged support, you want your carry to pick a melee carry. If you pick a melee support, you want your carry to pick a ranged carry instead. So, you know, you can tank for them essentially. So if you're playing a support hero like Crystal Maiden, that's very slow with low armor, you just want to be able to cast all your spells and nuke them while your carry takes damage, and then you give your carry tangos. Very important to buy regen. I'm just explaining all the basics right now, so before we get into the actual gameplay, so you understand, like, you don't grief your team with the picks. Or if you pick Ogre Magi, you want to be tanking all the damage. You don't want to be sitting on the side nuking them with your spells. That's what Crystal Maiden does. You want to be just going up and hitting them and trading. Well, you don't want to die randomly. Like, you don't want to be out of position. There's a difference between trading and being out of position in the game. If you're just straight up out of position and you die, you're feeding. But if you are, you know, like doing reasonable trades to guarantee your carry last hits, then you're doing a good job. Essentially, generally as a position 5, you don't have to kill the enemy, because that's what the position 4 has to do. He has to try to like harass the enemy position 1 while trading the position 5 with your offlaner. Generally as a position 5, you kind of have to 1v2, and you have to make sure your carry is hitting creeps. Essentially, if you know if you're doing a good job or not, is 1, you're not feeding, 2, your carry is getting farm. If your carry is getting free farming, he's last hitting creeps by himself, you're winning the lane. That's really all you have to remember most of the time. So after that, there are some carries that position 5 stat like Jakiro that shoves out waves, or Treant Protector that defends towers and push out waves. A lot of these heroes, they would, after the laning stage, your carry goes to jungle, you would just farm the lane. You would defend this tower for as long as you can. Like Kato can just keep blasting the wave and pushing out farm, sitting in the trees. It's very important that you understand how the trees work when you're position 5, because playing with these trees are super broken. Like, because these trees give vision, so you can hit people, go in the trees so they can't hit you, hit them again, go in the trees again. Like, juking around these trees is super duper useful. Like, abuse the fact that these trees, you can just get free hits and just back out, because don't forget, like, people only use spells on heroes. Your right clicks actually matter a lot. Kato not so much, but especially heroes like Treant Protector, bro. If you're going in and out of trees and you're hitting for like almost 100 damage when you buy some items like branches and whatnot, you're hitting for a lot. Like, you're hitting for a lot with Orb of Venom and stuff like that. So yeah, that's pretty much all there is to picking supports. In the mid to late game, essentially you just do what your hero does. You know, Warlock, you always want to drop your ult and your Fatal Bonds. Winter Wyvern, obviously saving. Just overall damage, nukes, plus Winter's Curse. Generally with position 5s, you're very squishy, so you want items that helps you live. So it's like Force Staffs, Glimmer Capes. Force Staffs are good. Glimmer Capes are good. I don't really recommend Aether Lens because I think it's kind of a grief for position 5 to buy this item, because you don't really have gold, right? Mana Boots or Tranquil Boots is really good if you have innate mana abilities like Chakra Magic or like Crystal Maiden with her passive that gives their whole team mana. If not, you kind of want to just buy Mana Boots. I honestly don't think there's a way you can ever go wrong with Mana Boots, because the thing about Mana Boots is that everyone needs mana. Your mid laner needs mana, your offlaner needs mana, your carry needs mana. Most heroes don't have enough mana in the game. A lot of time they don't, everyone like see how much HP they have, but they don't consider how much mana they have. So a lot of these offlaners have very low mana. Same with your carries. They have a mana issue. So just buying Mana Boots is really nice. Like, you just go near them, give them free mana every 55 seconds. That's actually stupid how much mana you can give people. I would say as a support, you generally, buy your shard. Shards are pretty OP on supports. Most supports have very good shards. So I'll say just buy your shard. And Aghanims could be okay. Blinks, situational, BKB even. For some supports like BKB is good. But generally you want to go items like Glimmer or Force Staff. You can almost never go wrong with them. Sometimes Yules. Sometimes you might want to just get a Lotus Orb if no one else can build it for you. Usually the offlaner will provide this, but sometimes if they have like a bunch of stuns, like single target, like Pudge, Bloodseeker, Doom even, you want to get this just for your carry. So a lot of these items, you're getting it for your carry, not just yourself. Always think about saving your carry. So like if you have like a Dusa, right, you want to just buy her a Lotus Orb and make her unkillable. Or any hero that gets kited. If they have like a Slark or Bane or anything, right, just get saves for your carry, Force Staffs. Don't buy fucking first item Aether Lens. It's so stupid. As a position 5, for the Tome, you kind of just want to buy whoever gets level 6. If you get level 6 before your position 4, your position 4 buys it. If you both have level 6, it kind of doesn't really matter who buys it. And after that, it's just like, whoever is lower level than the other one usually buys this so they can catch up and get some levels. As a position 5, all you need is levels. You don't really need gold. Because you don't need to buy damage items. You don't need to buy any items. If you get caught, you're going to die anyway. So none of these items, sustain items, really matter. I guess you could buy Vlad's for your carry sometimes. But essentially, you just want to buy utility items like Glimmer or Force Staff. These two are pretty good. Besides that, now is how you play the lane. I kind of already explained how you play the lane is by, New Kingdom. Make sure, oh yeah, if you have an ability like Crystal Maiden, you want to be using her abilities to secure range creeps. Very important in the early game. A lot of these carries don't have abilities to secure range creeps. So if you're a Warlock, you can't really help your carry. You just have to like harass people with your right clicks and whatnot. But if you're a hero that has a nuke, you definitely want to secure range creeps. Because if your carry is like a Juggernaut with no ability to secure range creeps, your range creep might get denied. And that's really bad. Buy wards. Give your carry a lot of tangos. Just pull them tangos. Press control and just give it to them. Wherever they are, give them tangos. So this is probably the most difficult, but the most important part of playing support. So playing support, you have to understand how camps work and how to pull. If you don't know how to pull, you pretty much can't play support. I'm not gonna lie. Like, you being here half the time is just you soaking XP from your carry. Same thing here. You have to understand how to pull. So as a position 5, in the early game, you're getting 0 farm from the lane because you're not contesting farm with your carry, maybe nuking range creep here and there. The way how you get golden XP is either by killing heroes or by pulling and farming the camps. It's only until like the mid game, so like around the 10-minute mark after, where you can farm lanes that are open that your carry is not going towards. If your carry is going to respawn and there's like a triple creep wave right here, that's not under tower, it's like here, and your carry is respawning in 5 seconds, he's about to TP here to farm. Unless if he TPs to the jungle like a retard, then yeah, you can farm this, but you're not going to farm this if your carry is going to farm it. You're only going to be farming a lane. Let's say this tower is gone and the creeps are like here. It's kind of dangerous. No vision here. Okay, then you're going to be farming this area with your Q or something like that, while your carry is safely farming the triangle, right? And on top of that, your team is not fighting. The biggest mistake people make playing position 5 heroes like Treant Protector or Coddle. I think this is the reason why Coddle has so low win rate. And heroes that have very good farming abilities as position 5s is that they farm way too much. As a position 5, you have to essentially be in every single fight. Every single one. Like, I'm not even kidding. You always have to make sure your TP is on cooldown. But it's also very important that you don't just TP to the lane. A lot of people, they die, they instantly TP to the lane. This is probably the worst mistake you can do. 1, you can just die again. And 2, if your carry is like farming like right here under tower, let's say, and you just died, you don't need a TP. If you have boots especially, you don't need a TP. Because your carry is safe. You can just walk back. There's nothing for you to do. You're saving 100 gold. And let's say if your mid laner is getting jumped on, some guy's diving your mid laner in the tower here, you can just TP to save him. Yeah, that's basically that. For the pulling, you have to understand how to block camps. So the offlaner is going to block your small camp here. You have to unblock this. So basically, like, the sentry can cover the entire camp, so you can just put it somewhere here. Right? And usually they will block it over either over here or like over here on the back here. That's what usually most people do. If they block it right in the middle, then it's pretty easy. So you just gotta make sure the sentry covers the entire area. This is very easy to deward. The large camp is the one that's hard to deward. But luckily for you, you don't have to deal with that because this is the camp you generally want to block. Now, you can actually pull the large camp as well, but you're mostly going to be messing with the small camp. So how this works is that essentially, with the large camp, the way how you can pull it is either by doing a double pull. So you pull your creeps and then into here. This is actually so bad. Why are the creeps not spawning? Okay, this is pretty bad, but you guys just gonna have to listen and understand. So with the way how this camp works is that you can pull your creeps. So at 45, 15:45, so every 15 seconds. So you can pull it at 15 minutes and 15 seconds or 15 minutes and 45 seconds, and then you pull it. Also remember to stack camps too. So right now I'm gonna stack it. It's around 53. If I hold Alt, if you hold the Alt key, it will tell you what time to stack it and which direction to go. Just follow this, right? Follow the stacking. Oh, stack here, boom, right? You can only pull these camps, by the way. None of the other camps you can actually pull. It doesn't work. If you try to drag the creeps into this camp, they won't attack it. The game is just built like that. So you can only pull these camps. That's it. You can't pull anything else. You can't pull this, right? Before you could pull the mid lane, it's like stupid. You can like pull it here. You go here and then you can pull here. Or you can go all the way back here and drag the creeps all the way back here. Now there's like the first wave, you can't do that. And then after that, you can only start dragging from like here. So before you had to deal with dragging, now they kind of changed it. Nerfed it essentially, so you can't drag it as easily. But yeah, that's basically that. I'm not gonna talk about dragging because it's a little bit too complicated for what we're discussing here today. But yeah, so with double stacking, so essentially when you stack the camps at 15 seconds, you pull, so there will be a creep wave like around here. It will meet it. Because the creeps are attacking you, they're going to be aggro towards this. And then your entire creep is going to be doing this. Now, the reason why you stack the camps is because, you never want to place Observer anywhere here. Because it will just get auto dewarded when people try to unblock the camps. I'll talk about where to place Observer in a second. But essentially here is where the creeps... If you have a single camp, some camps are stronger than the others. So the ghost camp and the troll camp is pretty strong. They will just like sometimes kill the entire wave or almost all the wave if you deny your own creeps. But some camps won't do that. Like there's some like goblin camps. Based on experience, once you pull, you will kind of understand what's what. But if you have a double camp, you pretty much kill the entire wave. So there's such a thing as half pulling and single pulling and double, like pulling half the creep. So like just one melee and one range creep, or the entire wave. So the entire 4 creeps. Now, the way, if you only have one camp here, you kind of want to just do a half pull. So you want to wait a little bit longer, like 48, and you want to only pull the last 2 creeps. Deny the range creep always, and let the 2 melee creep go. But if you have a double camp, you just pull the entire thing. Now, as a carry player, if you're a carry player and your wave is shoved here, you don't just come here and farm, because then you would just die. What you want to do is you want to help your support pull. So when your support is pulling, the position 4, because the offlaner is going to be farming under his tower here. The position 4 is going to come here to mess with your support. it's really important for you to even ask your carry to help you block it. So you will be pulling here, your carry will be standing like here, and the position 4 is going to walk over. Your carry is going to fight him, and you can both fight him like a 1v2 scenario right here, while the offlaner is farming here. You can either kill him or just stop him from, just carry will mess with him, and you can do the pull. Now, why is pulling so important? Essentially 2 reasons. 1, you can get farm on your own, and you can deny XP and experience for the enemy. And number 2 is that you can reset the creep equilibrium, which is essentially where the creeps meet. So the way how it works is that all the creeps will meet right in front of your carry's tower, always at the start of the game. This is really safe for your carry because, you know, if they try to go on your carry can go like this into the trees, whatever, go back to the tower. Tower protects them, gives them more HP and armor, right? Gives you 3 armor and 1 HP regen. So this is always safe. And the tower just attacks people, obviously. Now, if your carry is like farming over here, then if the position 4 like Earth Spirit or the Earthshaker stuns him, and then he has to like walk all the way like this. While he's walking, he's getting chased. He can just die, like here. This is usually where carries die. Almost no carries in the game dies here. That's why in the start of the game, you almost never die on carry. It's usually the offlaner who dies if the position 4 is bad and you do a good job of nuking the offlaner. To understand who to nuke is pretty weird. It's a little bit complicated because every hero is different, so I'm not going to get into that. But yeah, if the lane is here, you want to pull it so when it meets again, it will meet right here again. Yeah, if you kill the entire wave. So deny XP and whatnot. So half pulling sometimes does the job. Your carry also has to know how to deny and, like, you know, aggro creeps. Sometimes if your carry cannot aggro the creeps properly, you want to do it for him, which is creep aggro. So like, you know, like sometimes the creep is far away. You want to drag the melee creep to your range creep so you can deny your range creep faster. You could help your carry deny range creeps, like you can both attack the range creeps at the same time by, you know, A-clicking your own creeps and denying them. Or if your carry is like getting harassed, you can't aggro the creeps, you can attack the enemy hero and the creeps will follow you and you drag it away, drag it back. So you can aggro the creeps for your carry as well. This is super important. Here is the large camp. You can pull this essentially like this through these trees here. And then you kind of just run like this while the creeps are around, like near your tower here. This one is the same thing. It's like when the creeps are around like near your tower, you pull it like this. So over here, you just pull it like, you hit these creeps. And then you can like eat this tree even. And then you can pull it like this, kind of. You can also pull it through here. There's different ways. Here you just pull it like this. But you know, this stuff I don't want to get too into because I don't even know the exact time. I just kind of do it based on feel. There's like Google images you can search that tell you the exact times, and it changes for every patch when the map changes. So the next patch is about to be out, so when the patch changes, then the time will sometimes change. So you just have to kind of eyeball it. But what you can also do is you can pull it to the small camp, and then once this creep is about to die, you hit the large camp, and then you do a double pull. So you, like, it goes to this camp. Now, because the position 4 is generally not stupid, and if there's no creeps coming in the enemy tower, they would just come here and mess with you. So this is generally not possible. So I'll say, you know, resetting the creep equilibrium, understanding when to half pull, when to single pull, how to deny the entire wave, and whatnot is super important. Giving your carry tangos and harassing. Make sure your carry won't die when you go pull. A lot of times, if your carry needs your help, if you have an ability that can save your carry, you don't want to just leave them randomly. Or it's very important to communicate. You usually want to pull when your carry is somewhat safe, right? Some good places to ward are the places where you can see the enemy heroes. So you can just come in the trees before the game starts, put a ward here. See the position 5. But usually you won't have a ward because it goes to your mid and your off lane. But sometimes you can even put it like here. You can put it like maybe like here so you can see enemy pudges trying to hook you. But yeah, you want to unblock this camp. You want to block this camp. Some good places to block are like back here. There's this one place like back here or something. You can block it here. You can block it over here. But yeah, I think this is a pretty good spot because most people try to unblock the camp like here. And then they just wouldn't see that. So that's pretty good. Yeah. The reason why you want to block this camp is so the camp don't spawn, so the enemy cannot pull. Because the enemy can just pull this camp like this. And then your carry has to go here. Your carry is going to go like this. He's going to be like, oh, it's my creeps. And then he's going to be here farming this camp. And then the offlaner in the position 4 cast spells on your carry and he dies. So to prevent that, you don't want this to happen. And you only want this camp to be unblocked all the time. And you just want to buy sentries. Now, buying wards is a must. Generally, only position 4s buy smokes. If your position 4 is not buying smokes, you can buy smokes at the position 5. Always to make sure if there's any invisibility in the game, glimmer capes, 4 staffs, or anyone with natural invisibility, you always want to carry at least 1 to 2 smokes. Always buy wards. Your inventory should generally look like this. So it will be like tangos. So you have boots of your choice, tranquil boots or mana boots, dust, wards, 1 item that saves you, and generally that's it. That's all you have. And you have to understand how to ward properly. I might make a warding guide. There's certain places that is very like noticeable and some places that are not. But holy shit. Yeah, picking up runes is also important, but you kind of want to save this for your mid laner to pick up. Generally, the position 4 will come here and steal the rune, and you want to harass the offlaner. In the mid game, you kind of just want to stack camps for your carry. Especially you have like an alchemist or Sven or something. Stacking ancients is super important. And besides that, you kind of just want to sit behind people and just cast your spells. Make sure you don't die first. Man, a lot of these position 5 like lions and stuff just comes out of nowhere and they just die instantly. They just throw 1 stun and they die. They blink into the fight and die. Try to sit in fog. Make sure you have... Oh, this feels so satisfying, bro. Make sure you have good vision. So always carry observer and a sentry. So whenever the fight starts, boom. Oh yeah, another good way is to like separate these. You can lock it, so it's like you can buy sentries and it will be in 2 separate slots. But always make sure you de-ward, right? If any time the enemy's movements are suspicious, check the region for wards. There's a lot of different places people can put wards. And generally it's advised if you put the ward like somewhere like here. So you can see the high ground, but also if there's a ward like here. And then you can use the ability to check the top of the cliff. Now the reason why you always want to carry observer is like, let's say the team fight breaks out here, right? The enemy position 5 wyvern is sitting here to disengage. There's a tide hunter, or there's a drow ranger sniper. You can't see them. You're gonna lose the fight. You want to plant down a ward as soon as possible. And generally the enemy won't have time to de-ward this. So you kind of want to make sure there's no wards first. But sometimes you don't have time, you just want to put it down so you can see them, so you can win the fight. And you're going to be doing that. So you also want to get your big ults off. So like wyvern, you want to save people. You know, get your abilities off. And make sure, you know, disruptor, you're casting your static storm. You're using all your abilities. And if you die after you use all your abilities, it's okay. Providing vision, de-warding, smoking, stuff like that. You're kind of sitting around. You don't have to do too much. Like, you don't even have to stack necessarily that much. If you can win the lane for your carry, so, you know, a lot of heroes, their only goes to win the lane. Like Bane and on dying. Their only job is to win the lane. If you lose the lane, you lose the game pretty much with these heroes. So when you secure your carry farm, you win the lane, you try to keep this tower as long as life as possible. Understand this. After that, you're kind of just farming lanes, stacking, putting down vision. Very important to put down good vision. I'm not gonna lie, sometimes if you feel like your team is not doing anything on the map and everyone's AFK and you're like, oh, why am I course farming and getting caught? It's because you're not buying smokes. You're not warding efficiently. They can't see anything on the map. If your wards are getting dewarded, it means you're bad and you're putting them in places that are bad. And if the enemy are constantly killing your carry, it means you're not dewarding properly. Make sure to unblock camps. So a lot of times it's the support's fault that the team can't play properly. And they don't understand that. They think it's their carry's fault, but it's not. And then after that, cast your spells. Try to not die first. Stay in the fog. Staying in trees is very important. You kind of don't want to go in first. You kind of want your offlaner to go in, and then you just like pop a spell. But if you have like a offlane Enigma, let's say, like Enigma offlane, and you have like, you know, and they have like a Doom or something like that, you might want to go in first just to tank the spells, right? Cast your shit, and then go in and die. Sometimes you literally have to go in and die. Like, very rarely, but sometimes that is the case. Because let's say they have like you have a drow or something, and you're an ogre magi, and they have like black hole, chrono. They have like a faceless void with chrono, black hole, and they have like spells that kills carries, right? And a lot of time people are noob. They would just use the spells on you, so you literally just go in, you feed, and your carry can kill everyone else. It's pretty straightforward. But yeah, besides that, that's it. That's a lot of knowledge I just said. If you guys can do all of that, you will be 6k MMR easily. I'm not even kidding, man. Anyways, hope you guys enjoyed the guide, and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace out.